Hi, I'm Stacy Pingree, founder of Radiant Financial Group and the Legacy Wealth Podcast. Today, we're going to blow your mind. No, today we have a really, really fun guest. This is going to be super exciting for me because we have an active developer and investor in real estate that's here in Arizona, but her background is so diverse and unique. I'm so excited to get going. I don't want to waste any time. So the quote on her website or her bio is that every next level in your life will require a next level in you. And I love this. I feel like, Sandi, I barely have met you. I don't know you very well yet. And I feel like I already know you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast and to your home. And it's beautiful. And I really appreciate, having the opportunity to come here and speak with you about what I got going on.
Yeah. So. I mean, and we're going to get going. So Sandi West was born in Lake George in upstate New York.
Yeah, I actually grew up there, but I was born in Chicago, actually, and then moved there when I was 4. Okay. And I grew up there, and it was a great spot to grow up. I was in the Adirondack Mountains, and we got to do all the outdoor activities, like for summer and winter skiing. It was a safe place to grow up, and it was a good time. So,
amazing. Yeah. Okay, so you grew up in New York. I'm going to jump right into it because I feel like we got so many areas to cover too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you. You grew up in upstate New York. You ended up back in Chicago, and then that sort of led into we talked a little bit about being from a place like upstate New York where you said a great place to grow up, but you didn't see yourself kind of staying there and being stuck there. So when you broke out into Chicago, kind of talk us through what you did first.
Well, I graduated high school. I did 1 year in college, and I didn't really have any desire to be anything specific. And I was kind of, jealous for the people that are not for the people, but the people who were like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, or I was like, I don't know what I want to be. And so I had the opportunity to, after my first year in college, to go to Chicago and start working on the trading floors there. And I just felt like if I didn't get out of Dodge at that point, maybe I never would. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to seize that opportunity and not be like, I should have done it.
Yeah.
And so it was worth the risk to me to do it and just see how, because like if I failed, then I didn't like it or whatever, I could just always come back. So I'm like, why not give it a shot?
How trading floor? How did that transpire?
Oh my God. So after college, I convinced my mom and my stepfather to take me to Cancun, Mexico, because I just felt like going there. And there's a guy there that was from Chicago, and we became friends. And he's like, if you ever want to come to Chicago, I'll give you a job on the trading floor. So
you literally went like off of a...
Yeah, I got home, and 2 weeks later, I was in Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like, boom, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did that entail?
Oh God, $500 in 2 suitcases, and then right onto the floor, and I felt kind of like like a white rabbit in a pack of wolves because like fresh meat is actually what they would refer to the females, the new ones that came onto the floor. Gosh. So I was down there, and it was exciting and scary all at the same time. And, I think I fell in love with it like the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it, to me, you're obviously very smart. There's a lot of things are going to come out here about the things that you've done and what you've worked on. But I think that's like, doesn't get more like high stakes, high stress than being in that environment. Did you find that was kind of the, is that what you loved about it? What did you love about it?
Well, it was definitely a challenge, and it was like, a lot of aggression down there. I started in the currencies and then went into the euros and then downstairs into the S&Ps, which out of all the markets or the trading floors or the pits, I should say, in New York or Chicago or anywhere else, that was the most aggressive one physically. And it was, it took me some courage actually before I even went down there and walked onto that floor. And
you gotta psych yourself up.
Yeah. So I ended up working for the second largest bank in the world, BNP. I was down there, and I was a machine. I was a screaming maniac machine. And
you don't know how much I love this. This is like the coolest thing ever to talk to somebody. I feel like I'm in, the Wolf of Wall Street here, but it's it
was just like that.
Oh,
it was like high stakes, lots of intensity, lots of adrenaline, lots of screaming and yelling, but it was a good time too. Yeah. I made some lifelong friends down there, and so it actually built my where I could stand my ground and like not get pushed over. And built my backbone. And then I didn't want to. I saw the electronic markets coming down onto the floor. So I think it was like 98 or something. Don't date me on that. When the E-mini S&P came in. So the electronic markets were starting to make their way onto the floor. And so I kind of saw the writing on the wall and I started getting my licenses. So I ended up getting 5 equity licenses and went upstairs off the floor and started risk managing day traders as a general security principal for a broker dealer. And now I look back at it and I'm like, my God, I didn't even really realize what I had accomplished at that point, being a GSP of a broker dealer at the age of 24.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, 5 years after being there. So I had...
and no college education?
1 year, which pretty much amounted to not a whole lot.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. I mean, nothing like the old getting your stripes by just hard work and grit and getting into it,
Yeah.
Love it.
I loved it. I still love it.
Yeah. So then, so how does that evolve? Then you end up spending quite a bit of time there then. How long were you there?
I was there for 11 years. I was there from 95 to 06. And, was getting to the point where I was just like wanting to, I had flown to California and I was like, oh, California.
Coming across the country, weren't you?
I was like, I'm ready to leave Chicago and go to California. And I didn't quite make it. I actually ended up in Phoenix. And I was married at the time. And we started building a house in 05 and closed on it in 07. And then sold it for half in 09. And that was... I was like 31, 32 or something like that. Yeah. I was like, what the hell just happened? Like I went from like, people usually go into real estate and then diversify in the markets or vice versa, right? So anyways, after that, I went to California and I dropped off a lot of wealth in Phoenix at that point. And I'm like, well, I went to California for a little bit. I was there for like 11 years and then came back to Phoenix in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then in that journey between getting there, even getting to Phoenix, I know, you've done some projects, developed some projects and done some real estate, investing and you've really covered the gamut in that too, because you've done a little commercial. Or just the residential that's been multifamily and things like that. You developed.
I have a project up in Carson City, Nevada, and it is a subdivision, and it's entitled, and it's 60 homes or 61 homes. But recently, the city had their master plan was revised, excuse me, and it gave us the opportunity to rezone it. And so we're in that process right now where we could possibly now put in 90 homes. But then I'm thinking, I don't know if that's enough. So I'm going to try to push the envelope a little bit and see if I can get it to multifamily. So I think that's what that area needs. Carson City, the average medium income is like not very much. And they're in the middle of a housing crisis. And, the whole country's in an affordable housing crisis. So if we can just like see what we can do to provide that type of housing for people who really need it and can afford it, then I'm going to see if I can get the city to, see if we can rezone it a little bit differently than just single family.
Yeah. Would you hang on to the multifamily and do it as rentals, or would you are you talking like?
We would give them ownership. So it wouldn't be like apartments. It would be like condos or townhomes. And so like a PUD, condo docs, that kind of thing. So they own the unit, but they don't own the land. And, we would probably hold on to the HOA.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
So, yeah.
I'd love to get your perspective on, you said something a minute ago about most people start in real estate and then diversify into markets later on. Reverse that, right, for you. So talk to me about that. Like what drove you into real estate? What got you excited about it in the first place? What brought you into real estate?
You know what? I was actually in Phoenix. I had left California. I was in Phoenix for a little bit playing golf because I love playing golf.
Yeah.
And there was this guy, and I was always interested in like different businesses. I was intrigued by what other people do. So I love networking. And this guy, I was staying at his VRBO, and the dishwasher broke. And so he came over and I asked him what he did, and he said he flipped manufactured homes. And I was like, there's money in that? Yeah. And so he started telling me about it, and there were pretty good margins. It was like a low barrier of entry. And he's like, oh yeah, my guy who does all my work is going to be here tomorrow to fix the dishwasher. So I cornered him in the bathroom and like literally didn't let him out of the room for like an hour. And I was like, you don't know this, but we're going to become best friends.
Yeah.
And we are.
And
we are best friends.
Really?
Yeah. That was 2018. And we're like, we are best friends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He's one of my best friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was he the contractor?
Okay. He does like all the remodeling and stuff. Okay. I was like, so where do we get these manufactured homes? And like, do you do this work? And like, do you want to hang out with me for a little bit? And
yeah. You jumped in and saw the opportunity. I love it.
He's awesome.
And so, I mean, so then how do you, and so who does what in that partnership? So you've been working together as partners on a lot, I'm sure, I guessing a lot of these.
Yeah. So like I saw the opportunity, and so I called my friend from Chicago and I was like, hey, you want to jump in on this opportunity with me? We'll form a company, we'll fund it, we'll do our first flip. It was a single wide. Oh my God. And so I thought I was so proud of myself. Flipping this single wide, but I think we made like 10 grand for whatever. So then we started going into double wides, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I went into I did a historic home in Glendale, and then I was doing single families, and then I bought land, and then I started putting brand new manufactured homes down on the land, and then I started putting in wells and septic and bringing in power. I did a property out in Dewey, and so I started getting
doing improvements.
Doing experience, having the experience and doing land development that way. And that's what kind of led me to the Carson City project. I was looking at property in South Lake, and I was like, why is this piece of property that's just land so cheap? And I was like, oh my God, you can just put a manufactured home here. I was like, oh, that's what I do. So I put a brand new one down there, and it's right next to Edgewood, which is like an amazing golf course. Yeah. And so I was like motivated by the love of Lake Tahoe, that golf course, being on the Nevada side, no state income tax, lower cost of living, I still own it, and I'll probably never give it up.
Yeah, no, because now you've got a second. Do you use it as a second home?
I just have a long-term tenant in there, and he's pretty awesome. I love him. He's going to leave soon in April. I'm like, no, go.
Yeah. You'll fill it again, though.
Yeah, he takes really good care of the house, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on real estate over the markets?
I think it's the tide's turning. Tomorrow we have what could be a rate cut coming. Mm-hmm. For a few months ago they didn't think it was going to happen, but it seems like there's an 87% consensus that we're going to get a reduction in the rate. Powell's out the door here shortly, so that's nice. And so hopefully we'll start to see those interest rates head lower. And there's a lot of discussions surrounding real estate right now, like, getting rid of property taxes. I think Florida was talking about that, and Trump has talked about that.
Yep.
That would be interesting, right? So I think that it's a good time. I think it's a good time to really start thinking about, buying if you've been holding back. And, I know there's like a lot of inventory. You're in the real estate sector, so I do.
I mean, I think right now, we're in end of 2025. I mean, by the way, welcome to Christmas.
Yes.
I mean, we happy holidays. We have a little bit of a different set up here because we're filming around the holidays, right?
Yeah.
I think that we've been in Arizona, particularly, which is, majority of where we do our lending of any sort of lending and investing. We've been in a real buyer's market for the last couple of years, where, the sellers are getting squeezed, and the inventory, the inventory it's now there's a lot more inventory now than there was 2 years ago. But we've been in a buyer's market for at least the last year. And buyers getting concessions from sellers and being able to make deals and make the deal look really good, buy the rate down if we needed to. And so that's helped. But of course, all of our people that wanted to move, that are moving and sitting on the sidelines with a 2-point-something interest rate are stuck. They feel stuck. They shouldn't be, but they feel stuck. And I think just a little bit of movement, just a little bit of a breaking of that, a little breakthrough here would be give us some momentum, in that direction. Yeah. So many people are sitting in a house, sitting in a ton of equity. We're sitting in more equity now than we've ever been on, as far as, since it's like the 50s or something, as far as when people used to feel like they had to pay cash for their house or pay their mortgage off. Ton of equity everywhere, and people are just like waiting. Yeah. So to me, that's floodgates of opportunity for sure.
I think we're all waiting for the same thing.
I know. Yeah. I know, right? Exactly.
May.
Yes, exactly.
We're waiting for May.
Exactly. So no, I'm very optimistic about what's coming in in the coming couple of years here. I think it's going to be
too.
a great time. And I think there's a lot of great professionals in the business right now. And, from an investor's lens perspective, I'm very motivated right now about what's coming. So yeah, I love that because I do think people talk so much about diversification, and it always bugs me because I'm like, I'm in a business that I know. Why would I diversify in something I don't necessarily know? I mean, don't get me wrong. I got some crypto. I got some Bitcoin. I've got I don't have stacks of gold. So anybody, I have no stacks of gold or any, real gold bricks or anything like that. But I mean, I do think that if you're in a business that and it's your business, then be in it, right? Like be in it, and because you're obviously I already have the knowledge. I've already been through 2008. I've already lost everything a couple of times.
We all were,
right? Exactly. So it's funny on this podcast, our age range, everybody is like the same thing. Well, I was doing really great. 2005 started, bought my house, and 2008, and then we move on right over that.
Yeah.
The same conversation.
I don't know anybody that didn't get affected by that year. So, it was just like, let's just breeze over that. And
talk about markets. Controlling things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I know now what you've evolved to is this group home project.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear how you kind of stumbled into that, because I think it's just cool how things evolve. You are like a cool story in how you've evolved, right? Yeah, evolution.
Yeah, I didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, you didn't see this one coming.
Did not see this one coming.
Yeah, so talk about that though.
So I had a property for rent, and a woman came in and wanted to turn it into a behavioral health residence facility, a BHRF. That's what they refer to them as. And I was like, I don't know about this property from what you're describing, but if I come across a piece of property I think that would work in the future, I'll save your number and I'll let you know. So I did, and I was like, how about this one? And she was like, oh yeah, this should work. And we went through, I said, all right, I'll provide the property. I'm on the real estate side, right? I'll provide the property. You go inside. You're the psychologist, therapist, whatever, and you run the deal. And I was giving her an opportunity to have ownership of a business. Yeah. I gave her a huge opportunity. However, we get through all the approvals with the Department of Health, and then dealing with access, state Medicaid, which that's been probably the hardest part of the whole thing. And I won't go into all that because, might go down a little negative road. But, I don't know if you guys have heard about, I'm going to try to stop myself, but all the fraud that happened, right? Yep. With state Medicaid, $2.8 billion out the door. Yep. And, it's like you didn't figure it out on the first billion or the second billion or la. So, but anyways, aside from that, so we get licensed, and I'm like, okay, where are the people?
Let's get this thing going.
We build it. Yeah. If you build it, they will come. Well, they're not coming. What's happening? So I actually, I haven't been like super religious in the past, and I never really prayed to God. Because I felt like he had other things he needed to do. I was like, I got it under control. I don't need any help. Yeah. I'm just
self-starter.
Yeah. Maybe I'll pray for somebody else, but like never for myself. And so actually I was in that facility. It was vacant for months, and I had invested all the money, 100%. I had a ton of risk, and to do this thing and going into something I didn't know, and just like, I don't know. And so I laid down in one of the beds actually in that facility, and I was like, I was there. I was like, you know what? I don't even know what to pray for. So I'm just going to pray for help. And I'm like, I literally never asked for anything. So if you could just, help me out here, I would so appreciate that. And so the next day, I got a phone call from someone who I had networked with, because I was calling other VHRs. I was like, let's go. Do you want it? You want this house? You can have it. It's all yours, and it's all ready to go. So anyways, he goes, I have somebody, Sandi, that I think can help you. It was the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that was fast. I was like, I should try this praying thing some more. So, fast forward, we get people in there, and she quit the first week when the people actually went in. So it was her turn, and she boom quit. And I had to go in the door, and I was like, this is so not my lane. I don't feel like I'm qualified to do this. I'm not a therapist. I'm not
So is there a requirement? I'm curious about that. Is there a requirement for?
Well, there are providers that we do work with. We do work with psychiatrists, and then we work with, licensed professionals, right? That, so a psychiatrist, primary care provider, therapists. And so, and then there's a BHP that actually is the licensed person of the facility. But when you're on the inside running it, as I could be the administrator because I'm the owner, and now the sole owner because she quit, and so out the door she goes. And now in the door Sandi goes. And like literally I was on fire, and I probably cried like every day for 3 months because I felt like I'm not qualified to do this. I don't understand, why? And I felt like God took control of my life, and I couldn't understand why. And now I'm in my 8th month, and I get it. I've actually learned a lot being in that facility, and I've grown a lot, and I'm helping people, and I'm, it's some of the people that I had in the beginning are calling me now, and they're like staying in touch with me, and I see how like just them being in the facility has affected them, positively. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. And it's really touching, and it's like, I teach them, about it all begins with your thoughts, and then your words, and then your actions. And so, and that's true in life and anything that you do, right? So to have this positive mindset and to try to manifest what it is that you want, right? And I've been telling them, I said, this is going to sound a little crazy. I said, but don't think about what you want. You have to think that you already have it to bring it near. And I'm like, you're like a beacon, a beacon. And I'm like, don't ever think about what you don't want. Only think about what you do want, right? And I'm like, and just keep that coming. So, I teach them how to be grateful, because like if they wake up and they're not, thinking positive things, I'm like, the quickest way to turn that around is to be grateful and think about like you're going to get to hang out with Sandi all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like in there all day long, because I can't, state Medicaid is not paying. And so I can't afford to like bring in like and have staff there, right? So I'm the staff. And then I have like, actually my husband who's doing it with me, because, I can trust him, and he's like, I'm going to come in and help you. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So he's in there covering me right now. And so that's actually, I was like, not sure if it was going to rip us apart or bring us closer together, because the job is not easy. And it actually has brought us closer together, and he's really, really good at it. And I'm so grateful and fortunate to have him, and it's just been amazing. And
what a story.
Yeah. So like
how many residents, Sandi?
5, 5 max. And so you can have more, but we're keeping it a small little group, and the people actually kind of like that, because you don't have like people on top of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has their space, and it's a beautiful piece of property. It has it's on like 3.5 acres in Peoria. Unobstructed view of the Bradshaw Mountains. We have like little quail that run around, and owls, and they don't like the owls.
It's a healing place. I mean,
Yeah, they feel safe there. They feel like at peace, and that they can relax and start to recover, because a lot of them are homeless and suffering from drug and alcohol addiction, and with some of the drugs, they feel maybe people are following them, and so when they're my property is so private and so expansive that they feel safe there, and I'm glad that they feel that way. So it's really nice to have it. Yeah.
Any end in sight on the funding and all the stuff that has to go that needs to go along with it for you to maintain the business? I mean,
well, I actually went to one of the Senate meetings about a month ago, and it was the third one where access was really getting it handed to them by the senators. Karine was really all over them, and I was like pretty happy about that. Yeah. And, they're short-staffed in what they call the prior authorization department. So they are not getting through the paperwork that we're submitting. They're not reviewing it on time so that we can file claims and bill. And that's where the backup is. And but hopefully that's going to get better. And they said it's going to get better. And you got to stay on top of it. So for me, I'm like super persistent, and I'm like going to figure out who is in there and try to work with that person. I have found a woman in there, and she's been super helpful. And, this business, I come from the trading world. It was super cutthroat. Yeah. Real estate, a little on the cutthroat side too. Yeah. We're all kind of competing with each other. But with the behavioral health, this type of industry, everybody like works with each other, and they help each other. And I find that to be so refreshing, and it's female dominated. And so a lot of super strong women. And I was more in a male dominated environment with the trading and then the real estate and construction. And now I'm like in a female dominated environment. And to have met so many super strong women is just like, I love it. And they're bosses. Yeah. I mean, they are. And I absolutely love it.
Oh, there's some big boss women in healthcare in general. But I love that, definitely. Yeah. There's been a couple of guests we've had that are just massive bosses, like you. And I mean, that just is, it says so much. And they do everything. They do their family. They do they're like level 10 on 10 different levels. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's just, it's pretty incredible to watch. Well, what you are doing is just, it's amazing. I think I was just so inspired when I heard you and I talked and you were at the gym with all of your residents. And this is what got me. I was like, you were at literally, like, I took everybody to the gym. We're at the gym working out because, we're getting fit, we're getting healthy, you know? And I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, if that's not just like, you're a boss, you just say, hey, here's what we're going to go do today. And here's how we're going to be fit and healthy. And I can only imagine what kind of a resource you are for them. Just, again, positive mindset, mentally, spiritually now, especially. So, I mean, I mean, did it kind of change your perspective about, you feel like you've changed, like there's something that's changed in the last, like you said, 8 months or so?
Yeah. I go to church now. I never went to church. I mean,
so you're in.
I'll be honest. I was supposed to be Catholic, and I say that as a joke because I understand. But I do believe in the higher power and everything, but I never really kind of like got into it. Now we go to CCV. Okay. And I think it's a great church, actually. Yeah. And it's the one on 67th Ave and Happy Valley Road. And they have great messages. And, sometimes like we'll leave and some of the people are crying because they feel like that they're talking to them and it applies to them. And the last message was, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Ooh. And you know what the craziest thing is about that? Is that the day before we do these boards, and so we write a little quote and then we write 3 questions, and my husband wrote, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And then the next day was like in church, and I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. So crazy. And so I was like, you know what, you guys, this is a message that's really trying to come through. So you guys really need to think about this. Like, who in your circle, and this applies to all of us, right?
Everybody, yeah.
Who in your circle is toxic? Who in your circle is really on your side? You know what I mean? Who, and who are your go-to people? Who's going to really be honest with you? Who's going to encourage you? Who's going to pull you off track? And like, so, that's important for all of us, because I think we have some of those amazing people and some of those other people that are just like, energy suckers. Oh yeah. And so boundaries are good.
Yep. There's a quote, and I'm going to mess it up because it's just a random thing that I always say to my kids, and they understand the context behind it, but it's like, beware of those who come to, take the fruit versus those who come to like till the soil. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like that one. It's like
a similar thing, and it's, a little biblical maybe too. But there's like, I mean, that's so true. I mean, just energy suckers in so many different ways. We've talked about energy on this podcast before and how important it is.
100%.
And I feel it when you get on the phone with somebody to even talk to them about the podcast and their story and what's, the idea behind this is like, we're leaving a legacy already. It's not like people talk about legacy and they're like, oh, I would love to leave a legacy. It means you're dead and it's what people remember about you. That's like the kind of, I think a lot of people kind of think of it as. And for me, it was like, immediately I knew that was like the word I wanted, and I wanted to change the meaning of the word to be, it's it's the impact we're having and what we're creating right now, because that's really what the legacy is, right? It's not once we're dead. I mean, that's just when people talk about it, I guess. But you're doing it, you're doing it in so many ways. I mean, you're helping these people in this home that you weren't really supposed to be, you were, obviously it was your path, but you didn't pick it.
Yeah. I didn't. That's why I said, I'm like, God took over my life. And like, I took a hard left, and I was like, so a lot of stuff that I was doing, like in the real estate and in like trading was on pause. Cause like I was in there like all the time, every single day, and like trying to understand exactly how I had my policies and procedures. So, I mean, I'm okay. And I'm talking to other people that are BHRFs, and, they were very helpful and still are helpful. And, I've made a lot of different changes, and we're making progress, and I feel a lot better about it. I'm not crying every day anymore.
Yeah,
So
that's good. That's
unless I
good.
go to church, and then, maybe I'm crying there.
The right kind of crying.
Yeah.
I always say one of the best gifts that a person can possess, or the best quality a person can possess, is their mentality just to figure stuff out. And because I mean, there's no real. I mean, you're talking about policies and procedures. Actually, what reminded me of it. But like, you write them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you kind of know the guy, but you figure out what they need to be. And I think and how to create and how to find a solution, and what's happening with the funding, and how you find a person who can help you on the inside. And I've said, my husband's a lot like that. He's just a solution guy. He's just like, there aren't problems, there's only solutions, And,
Oh yeah. I
and
love that.
Yeah, I do too. And it feels like you a lot, And I think watching your career, or like not watching, but reading about your career and hearing you talk about it, like, isn't that true? Like, I love that advice. What advice you could share is, how do you just go figure something out, a whole new industry, a whole new way, somewhere. And so, like, what advice do you give people on that?
You quit, you fail.
Yeah.
Do not quit. Don't ever, ever quit. You have to be unstoppable and just keep going, no matter what comes in front of you. If you have a hurdle, you have a problem, figure out the problem is. Some people, they just want to talk about the problem. Once I've identified the problem, I just want to implement the solution. So then it's execute, because we have more problems are coming. So let's not let them pile up. And that's when you get overwhelmed, right? So I'm always trying to identify the problem, solve the problem, move on, keep going, keep going, keep making progress. No matter like how small the progress is, it's still progress. And don't ever, 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 ever give up. You have to keep going. You have to be unstoppable, because you could be, that you never know how close you are.
Right. It was like you. Think about that. It was the night it was laying on the bed, and the next day was, know?
Yeah.
It's like,
you have to have faith too, right? In something. So if you have faith that you're going to do it, and you have that mindset that I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to ask for help. Some people don't have, they have a hard time asking for help. I did. Yeah. So now I'm like, I'll take all the help I can get. Like, let's,
this help feels pretty good.
Call me. I could use some help.
I love that. Actually, that's really great. Yeah. I just feel like we're going to be friends. So now I'm excited. I made a new friend. I'm just thrilled to have you here. What else? What's next for you? I mean, so it feels like you're living so present. I wanted to say a lot of people, I'm like, so what's next? And you can hear like things are on the horizon. I don't even know that it matters. Like, maybe it does, but like for me, I'm listening to you, just like you feel like you're really present in your life right now. And but what do you see next for yourself? And that could be in any level.
I don't know. It's kind of funny you mention it, and it's like a little, be like, Sandy, don't you have enough things to do?
Yeah.
But like after this appointment, I'm actually going to go to the med spa and, do a little self-care, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to do that. Yeah. And, I was looking into different therapies that you can do. And one of them is like a frequency therapy now. And what they're saying, like what your vibration, now, like everybody, like the new thing is like frequency and vibration in your cells. And if they're cells, like, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So if you could like, mirror, put some of those in. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to open my own med spa, but,
No, never say never.
Yeah, the wheels have been turning.
Yeah. Well, think about it like with healing in general, right? Like the healing of using energy to heal. Is that kind of where you're headed?
Yeah, right. Because you're healing exactly. With being on the right vibration, sending out that right frequency, being in a positive mindset, and, eating healthy, exercising. We go to the gym for 2 hours a day, like 4 days a week, and I have a hard time getting them out of there. And they just love it. And they understand it's not just about the physical health, that they're like, this is really helping me mentally.
Yeah.
And so I love that. And it does help. So, I do have that project up in Carson City that I really need to focus on.
Yeah.
And I will be.
But it's less interesting to you now, I can tell. You know what I mean? It's like you got this new interest.
It is a challenge, though, because I'm actually going to have to get the city to help, see if they'll let me rezone it to multifamily, because the impact that I can have in that community would help so many families that live in that area, because the average income there's like 60 grand.
Yeah.
So, and then the average house is selling at like 530. How is someone making 60 grand going to afford a house that's, 530?
There's no opportunity there.
The people are coming over from California, and I don't blame them, into the Nevada side. And those are the people that are buying those houses. So I'm like, I really want to talk to the city and be like, listen, if you really want to have the best use for this property, let us do multifamily. Let us give them the opportunity to build wealth, to build equity, to have a place to live where they're going to raise their kids and have it be affordable. But you're going to have to give us the zoning that we need to be able to make that happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be $500,000 homes going up, and I don't know how they're going to afford it.
Get people moving out, so you don't have jobs. You don't have people to fill the jobs that run the city.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're coming down from Reno or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they say. Hopefully they'll work with us on that, because we're trying to not just build something to build it to sell it. We're trying to actually provide something that's really needed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. You're a change maker. I can, that's already obvious. And we're here to support you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Probably going to have you on in another year, and you'll be in a whole new space and doing all new things with a med spa.
Yeah, right.
What's going on? Really? I love when a guest comes on and it's just an impact, and I knew that this was going to feel like this. So I'm happy, so excited that you were here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was really a pleasure being here and talking with you, and I so appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, and I hope that we can use this to kind of leverage some of these things that they're stuck, not moving forward, or the city in Carson City will send them the video.
Yeah,
come on,
right?
guys, get off and do something here. But we'll be following you, we'll be supporting you, and we'll be helping you any way we can. So
wow, thank you so much. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I'll take all the help that I can get.
Exactly, I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Anything you want to add or leave with our guests before I?
Happy holidays.
Oh,
and,
Oh, I have a little happy holiday. A little happy holidays.
Oh
take it for your self-care day.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Yeah. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yes, of course.
And, have a great new year.
Yeah. Thank you. You too. Yeah. It's going to be an exciting new year. Well, this is Sandi West, everybody. She is, as we said, amazing. Supportive Living is what she's on now, but also developer, investor. And so we'll put some contact information for her below, and some of the projects she's involved in, so you can get behind it and help her. She's asking, she's actually not afraid to ask for help, which I love. Anyway, thank you so much for being here today, and happy holidays.